Halloween is only a few days away, and the road to the knockouts, depending on when you watch this, are either out of the game or will be leaving today. Which means today we're going to be getting some information about the Halloween promo. So in this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know heading into it, basically how it's going to work, the content to expect, how the market's going to react, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about it today. If you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up on this. If this video can hit 50 likes, we'll drop a very special investment video for you guys on Saturday. And of course, if you're enjoying the daily FIFA 22 market videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on another video from me. So guys, of course, we're in that Halloween spirit. Today I'm dressed up as Simicas. I think it looks pretty close, honestly, and I know a lot of you guys say I look like him. So I'd say it's a pretty good costume despite Mo Salah being on the back of this shirt. But enough of that, we're going to talk about what to expect today. So just a disclaimer, depending on when you're watching this, we'll probably know what the promo name is. Now maybe it's Scream, maybe it's Rulebreakers, maybe it's like Trick or Trick or Treat or something. Regardless, it doesn't matter what the name is, the promo is all the same. And of course, all promos end up being pretty much the same content anyways. So we're going to start off here on DexterToad.com, and we're going to go over what happened for FIFA 21 Rulebreakers, and then we'll actually go into what Ultimate Scream happened in FIFA 20. So basically what happened with this promo is for Rulebreakers, we got a brand new team with a bunch of cards with these insane boosts or position changes, whatever it might be. But as you guys can see here, Harry Kane with a 91 pace card, Laporte with an 80 pace card, Douglas Costa had an absolutely insane card in game, and so did Nangalan. So we saw like these cards with really nice boosts. So how did Rulebreakers work? Basically, it was just a huge change in stats that a player lacked. So you know, Harry Kane, I mean, he is slow as bricks, and so is Laporte, and they both had really high pace cards. Or players that had low passing or low dribbling, they got some crazy boosts as well. So, you know, here's a tweet from EA right here, or here's a tweet from Man City right here kind of talking about how these cards were upgraded. And I'd imagine we're going to see something similar to whatever the name might be. With Rulebreakers, we ended up getting a bunch of SBCs and objectives too. Every day we got these really nice SBC kind of, you know, puzzles to do, and we also saw the introduction of the player pick SBCs, which was really cool, and I imagine that this will be returning this year as well. So basically you could do an Inaki Williams SBC where he has a boost in his dribbling or his shooting, and you had to choose which one you wanted when you complete the SBC. It was a really cool concept and allows for a ton of like squad building opportunities and stuff. And I do think we are going to see the return of that in this promo. We didn't really see it too often last year. We saw it a few times, but you know, EA really had the potential to use this a lot this year. We also got some really nice objectives last year. We had Nordi Mukiele, who had he was a really fun card right at the start of the game, and I imagine we're going to get more cards like this. We also saw cards like Malong and just these other really nice cards too. We also got 2 teams for it. So, you know, the double team thing, it's going to be interesting to see. It's something we'll probably find out on Friday if we're going to be getting 2 teams for this promo. So then with Ultimate Scream, it was pretty much run the same way, just rebranded. What we saw was these boosted cards with some crazy different stats. So Aguero had a really high pace card. He was really insane with the dribbling too. We saw a Scream PK where his card was boosted up really nicely. We had a Toni Kroos where his pace was insanely high compared to what, you know, his usual 50 pace card was, and he made, you know, the card usable. We also got a Scream Firmino who was an absolutely insane box-to-box player, boosting up his defensive stats and making him really fun, as well as his Zlatan card with 85 pace. So Scream is basically, you know, Scream, Rulebreakers, it's basically cards that get these insane boosts to stats that they may not have a lot of, you know, stats in. So we're going to be seeing that for sure in this promo, whatever it might be called. And with Scream, what we saw was the weekly objectives, the Halloween themed SBCs and stuff, and then of course, you know, a bunch of promo packs and stuff like that. So, you know, last year we saw this, I think we saw this in FIFA 19. This was the FIFA 19 stuff. We saw like these little club things, whether it was crests or whatever it was. We saw a lot of little things that just made it fun, as well as objective styles and stuff like that. Now this year I find it a little interesting in what they're going to do, and I actually do think we're going to get something like Rulebreakers this year, because in the store we're actually getting Halloween style bundles. We got a Trick bundle, which is a little interesting to me that they're including the Halloween content right here, and I think this maybe hints at the fact that this is the only Halloween stuff we're gonna get, because we are gonna end up getting Rule Breakers or whatever. So I am thinking that we're probably not gonna see Scream, unfortunately. But, you know, you never know. We'll probably find out. You guys might already know, of course, while doing this. But now we're going to talk about the market. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the predictions that I have for how the market's going to react to the loading screen heading into the promo. And then we're going to talk about the promo cards themselves, because this year we're seeing a very similar trend with a lot of the new promo cards. And I think it's just going to be a trend that continues on. We'll kind of take a look at how the cards reacted last year to Scream and Rulebreakers, whatever promo we're on. So just to get an idea of where I'm coming from in this video, right now the market has been rather flat, I guess you can say, over the last, few hours of the day and into, Tuesday and stuff. We saw like a little rise throughout the day on the gold market. On the icon market, we saw pretty much a flat day as well. I didn't really see too much really happening, and you guys can see here from the daily graph, I mean, it was slightly down throughout the day, but nothing really crazy and worrying. And I think this is going to be kind of the trend heading into the loading screen. What's going to happen is we are going to see panic. Now, I don't think the icon market will see much panic, but what I do think is going to happen is we're going to see your guys' favorite, the gold cards are going to get panic sold again. And honestly, if I'm holding gold cards, I'm making sure that they're only untradeable. Any tradable cards you have that are gold, I would honestly just look to sell them off each week. Because these cards are just going to get killed week in and week out right now. We're getting promo packs basically every day. So it's really hard to make coins on these gold cards when they're constantly getting supplied and there's constantly new alternatives coming out each week now. So I do think, with the promo loading screen coming out, you're going to see these golds kind of sink down. Special cards, maybe we'll see a little bit of panic heading in. I don't expect too much really panic throughout the special cards into Friday. The only time you're going to see some real panic is on the actual day of promo, between your 6 to 8 p.m. UK kind of plan. We'll talk more about specific cards to look for when we get closer to that day. Now, looking at FIFA 21, we're going to kind of take a look at some of the cards, because during the time where Rulebreakers came out, we didn't have the greatest market. It wasn't as bad as this, but the Rulebreaker cards were interesting because some of them are very good and they were priced very, very highly. And I think the market for these cards is going to be an interesting one. Harry Kane by far was my favorite one last year. I did use a couple, but Harry Kane was easily my favorite. Of course, how every promo works, when these cards come out on Friday, they're going to be very expensive and they'll sink down over the weekend. But these cards did very well afterwards. And of course, we'll talk more about it next week too. But you guys can see when the promo dropped, which was on the 23rd of October, you guys saw how high these cards went up and then they came back down and then they kind of stayed flat. And the same thing kind of happened with Laporte's card and some of the other Rulebreaker cards too, as you guys can see here. I mean, he was up a little bit, came down, and then just kind of stayed flat and went up a little bit over time. So I really like these cards. I think they're going to do very good on the market. Now, as I said, these cards did come out on the 23rd of October. So we're going to take a look at Laporte's just gold card because he did go out of packs, but I just want to kind of show you guys the reaction of fodder cards heading into this kind of period of time. Now, Laporte's an interesting one because he was one that went out of packs and he actually went up a lot. And the reason why was he was out of packs. And we got some really good SBCs last year. We got some really good stuff. That Inaki Williams SBC was really fun. A lot of people wanted to do it. Same with Malong. And I think this year we're going to get some really good ones too. Bernardo Silva was a really class one in the last promo. And I think people really like doing these boosted cards more than the live cards for some reason. Just because they know for sure that, a card is going to kind of hold its value for a while. This is the first promo this year we're going to get where we don't have a live card as a promo card, so it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think Laporte's card is going to rise like this when he's out of packs, or any fodder card will rise up like this, but picking up some fodder might not be a bad shout. Now, I think with cards like, meta cards, or for example, we'll take a look at how they kind of reacted, you might see some of them go down if we get a really, really good team. And the reason why I say that is because we're basically going to be getting potentially two teams of about 22 brand new players that are going to be kind of coming onto the market and are other options for people to kind of choose. And I think a lot of people are going to ditch those lower meta cards too. Because what happens with these promos is we finally get a mid-tier. All our high-end cards are ridiculously expensive this year. Meaning, to get a good card, it's like 1,000,000 coins to upgrade from, whatever card tier you're on. Now that we're going to be getting these kind of new cards coming in, they're going to sit kind of in a middle ground. Which provides a really nice option for people to kind of use. So for example, there'll be cards that are worth like 200, 300k that people will finally be able to pick up. So expect cards like Lacroix, Dembele to get ditched even more and probably go down a lot more in price over the weekend. So last year with Ronaldo, we saw on the 23rd, his price really just kind of slowly went down. It really didn't move too much during the panic. But taking a look at a card like Mo Salah's gold card, who was kind of that mid-tier card, he was sitting at about 300k. Look what happened to his price actually when the promo started getting announced. A lot of people panic sold because they know new cards are coming that are going to kind of move these middle ground cards out of the way. And when the promo actually dropped, Salah ended up kind of tanking down for a little bit. As people found other options. Now, of course, he did rise back up a little bit, and I think that was due to some player of the month hype last year, potentially. But regardless, we saw these gold cards really start to take a hit, and of course, we do have Black Friday coming as well. So be careful with some of these mid-tier cards, and especially those low-tier cards. We can take a look at a card like Joe Gomez from last year, who had a lot of demand, but he was also 83 rated. And he'll be our last card we kind of look at from the Rulebreakers promo. But he's another one that was extremely low tier, but he was very high in price. He was sitting at around 100k to open up the year last year. And as you can see, with some panic, he did move around quite a bit. So when we found out that Rulebreakers was coming, a big drop in price came for him. And then when the promo did drop, he ended up dropping about 15k. Of course, he did go on to rise up quite a bit afterwards. But we did see that initial panic, and I don't think we have the market strength this year for these cards to kind of recover. Because I do want you guys to keep in mind, this market is not the same as last year. These graphs, yes, they kind of replicate what could happen, but this market is so much more different. We've seen this market really die a lot already, and I just don't think the market will have the strength to push those gold cards back up. So that's why, I kind of take it with a grain of salt when those cards kind of rebounded after, like Salah, Joe Gomez. I think a lot of those mid-tiers are going to get killed, especially those low-tier metas. Those ones are going to get really hurt as we get 22 new just boosted alternative cards that are going to be completely, just boosted, not live cards. Nothing to do with real life football. So that wraps up this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are excited for the Halloween promo. Let me know your thoughts on it when the loading screen does drop, of course. And tomorrow for Thursday we will have a big kind of last minute investments video talking about stuff to pick up, stuff to buy on Friday, and all that good stuff that we usually talk about. If you enjoyed, drop a like, and until next time, peace.